Has finally arrived. This is Kingdom Death Monster. This is their 1.5 core edition. You can see right there. This is a freaking sweet, slick box. I love the black on black with the slight shimmer it has on the design. Also, this is a massive box. I got a big pair of scissors here, sort of just see for scale, I guess. But this is, this is a massive, massive box. This is 24, sorry, not 24. This is 20 pounds of board game. Yeah, I've been waiting for a couple weeks for this to arrive. I bought it a couple weeks ago, and I've just been really, it feels like it's been forever, but it hasn't even been that long. I can't imagine what it was like for people who actually kickstarted this game. If you guys haven't seen my Twitter, I've been sort of raving about this game for the past little while, and if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can find the link in the description below. It's the best way to keep up to date on all things me. But I've been posting stuff about Kingdom Death, and it's probably, like, even though I haven't really played the actual physical version yet, I have played a little bit on Tabletop Simulator. And I will be making a video actually on this game. I don't know if I'll record a campaign on Tabletop Simulator just for easier recording and better audio, because I don't exactly do videos like this. I don't really do real life videos, so it's a little bit tough for me to have a setup. I don't really have a setup for that kind of thing. And I would prefer to have a higher quality audio and all that good stuff, and without the hassle. It's a lot easier. Plus, it's still the exact same game on Tabletop Simulator. It's just the quality that you'll see from the miniatures and stuff like that is going to be quite high. But I still have to put together the miniatures. This literally arrived like 15 minutes ago, and I haven't even unboxed it yet. So I wanted to do a live unboxing because I wanted to show you guys sort of some of the inner workings and stuff like that. But I have been playing a little bit on the weekend just to familiarize myself with the rules, and because, you know, it's a pretty darn big game, as you can tell from the box, and I didn't really want to I'm always the rule guy in my group of friends, so I always go through the rule book and stuff like that, and especially with this game, I didn't want to have a lot of downtime with my friends in the upcoming weekend, so I wanted to build the miniatures throughout the week, and then also learn the game on Tabletop Simulator. So I have played about 10 to 15 hours on Tabletop Simulator. It's easily already probably my favorite board game I've played. I love complex board games, but I love this game in particular because this game is quite unique. This game has got a lot of cool, unique things going on for it, and I can safely say that I haven't personally played anything like it. It does take a lot of cool things from video games, almost, in the sense that it's pretty much like Monster Hunter with Darkest Dungeon, metagame, and like the world of like Dark Souls, where it's very, you know, open-ended. You know, the game doesn't tell you a lot. It's a lot more about your own journey and your own story. But I'll get more into the gameplay when we actually start unboxing things. I'm going to show you some of the stuff in there. But yeah, be on the lookout for some actual gameplay on my channel in the near future. But yeah, like I said, it probably will be on Tabletop Simulator, but just to sort of show how the gameplay works, just in case you guys are interested. Now, just be forewarned, if you guys do want to buy this board game, it is hefty. It does cost an arm and a leg. It is the most expensive board game I've ever seen, but that's because of the build quality of the miniatures. You do have to put the miniatures together yourself, similar to like actual tabletop games, such as like Warhammer and stuff like that. So it's that kind of quality. There's a reason why there's a lot of people that actually just paint the Kingdom Death miniatures and stuff like that. I will be painting them too. Still haven't decided yet if I want to do it on stream. I would prefer not to have my skills, especially since I've never done it before. I personally would not like to be berated by Twitch chat about my painting skills. Plus, I would rather play with them first and see where that goes before I build any of the more serious miniatures. But yeah, let's just get started. So I'll probably do some cuts for this just because I can't really operate my phone without and I can't unbox this beast while holding my phone. So I'm gonna make some cuts. So here we go. All right, so we've taken the top off and we are greeted with miniature assembly. And I actually haven't looked at any of this before, so I'm really excited to do like an actual first look at all this stuff. And yeah, it should be fun. It should be fun. So yeah, we're greeted with this nice little miniature assembly with build.kingdomdeath.com, because they do have build guides on their website, as well as there's plenty of other places that have build guides just for how to put the miniatures together and what parts to sort of keep aside and stuff like that. So let us... Oh wait, these are all the miniatures. All right, well, this is going to be tough. I might have to do some more cuts. That's what's underneath the miniature assembly part, and I just opened up the miniature box, and Holy balls. This is going to take a while. Especially for someone who's never actually built miniatures before. I'm actually really looking forward to this. Now, obviously, this is like a massive overtaking, or I don't know what you want to call it, but like you can sort of see here, let me pull up, this is part of the Phoenix. This is one of the monsters you can find, but you can sort of see the quality of the miniatures here. They're a really, really high-end, I can't remember what material it is, but you can sort of see the detail. And this is just like one glimpse into sort of how detailed these miniatures get. If you go online and search up Kingdom Death, you'll see people with really, really awesome skills paint these, and they look freaking fantastic. Better than a lot of just other tabletop games that I've seen. But you can sort of see there's just layers and layers and layers and layers of spurs with miniatures attached to them, and even like you can just sort of see every single part. There's all like the hands and stuff like that, and limbs, because you can build your own miniature, which is the pretty cool thing about this game. Is the whole idea of the game is you control a small group of survivors in this really, really crazy horror filled world, and you don't really know what your goal is, but your whole goal just in general is just to survive and hunt monsters and build up your settlement and stuff like that. And so you can actually build your own miniatures. They do come with 4 starting miniatures that have like sort of their own set look, I guess is the best way to put it. But as you can see sort of from what I showed you with all these different limbs and different weapons and all that stuff, you can actually just build your own, and sort of, I really am looking forward to like having some survivors that are just like super epic, and they have like a crazy campaign, and then I can like immortalize them in like my own look, however I want them to look, and paint them after that. So that's sort of my goal with all of this stuff. But like, holy crap, I can sort of see why people online said that you're just going to be sort of overwhelmed off the start. But like all this stuff, like you don't have to build right now, and like I'm not going to be building it right now, like all in one go. I'm only building the 4 starting survivors and the prologue monsters, and the starting monsters, because those are going to be the things that you're going to be obviously using off the start, and just I'll worry about the other stuff later, because this is the reason why it is a $400 game. But honestly, from what I've played so far on Tabletop Simulator, and just with the quality of this stuff that I can see, like, it makes sense. And there is a shite ton of game in this game. There's a lot of content. Like, people even say, like, don't worry about the expansions. There's over 12 expansions that include monsters and different ways to play the campaign and stuff like that. People say just don't worry about that when you're first starting out, because it's going to take you, depending on how often you play this game, it's going to take you months and months and months to even just get through the content. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But anyways, let's get to the sort of the more meat of it as well. This is going to be the settlement board. So I really like the quality of this stuff. When I looked online and I saw some videos, I think, because this is the 1.5 edition, so this is the one that they released it's pretty darn recently. Before, I think it was 1.3 or something like that. But this is the settlement board that'll sort of guide you through sort of the steps of the different stages of that phase. The game sort of operates in 3 different big phases, where you have like your hunt phase, where you're actually hunting the monster. That's actually on this board, where you start at one end, and then the monster starts somewhere, depending on what level they are. They start in the middle of this board, and you obviously don't want to get to the very end here, otherwise you have to go back. But you start here, and then there's random events that happen throughout the whole hunt, and they can either kill you, they can give you powers, they can buff you, they can start the hunt right away. But when you collide with the monster on this board, that's when the hunt actually starts. So then you have the hunt, where it's, you have the actual fighting and stuff like that. But then after that, it's the settlement phase, where you're keeping track of the timeline. The whole campaign is played through what are called lantern years. The game doesn't actually tell you what the time span is between a lantern year, though. So it's safe to assume that it's not comparable to our lantern year, or not our. It's not comparable to our year of 12 months. So you play over 30 lantern years. Is sort of one campaign, and yeah, each lantern year approximately takes 1 to 2.5 hours, I would say, depending on sort of how things go. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different random events that can happen. So you're also keeping track of like which survivors die, and stuff like that, and milestones. And then you also have a bunch of building you can do, what are called innovations. So you can actually build different locations, which are going to be the ways that you're going to be crafting new armor. So there's different different crafting stations and stuff like that. And then you have innovations, which are sort of just the progression of your education, your science, and your evolution, I guess, as a settlement, which is another just whole other thing. Like this settlement phase is sort of one of the big things I love about this game, and where it's very reminiscent of Darkest Dungeon, where you do have like a meta game outside of the actual combat stuff. So in Darkest Dungeon, you're preparing yourself, and then you go into a dungeon, then you come out with supplies, and then you metagame, you hire new recruits, you heal people, you build new places. This is exactly the same. The actual gameplay combat portion is like Monster Hunter, which is very, very cool. Like this game is going to appeal to a lot of people, and I would say that if, I will be getting, like I said before, I will be getting a gameplay video up at some point, whether it be in physical form or on Tabletop Simulator. If it does interest you, it is worth saving up for, because not only is this just a lot of replayability, it's just a very unique game, because I personally haven't seen anything like it before. But here are the tokens. This is also another reason why I love this game too, though. Even though it's so big, it's a little bit more manageable. Like I love this game too. This is one of my friends and mine's favorite game, Sword and Sorcery. We've been playing this, but there is so many tokens in that game. Just it's a pain in the ass to set up and take down, and I actually did have to take it down to make room for this board game. I'm sorry, Sword and Sorcery. But there is just so many tokens. This game luckily doesn't have too many tokens. There's just mostly cards. And personally, though, I would rather deal with cards. Card management is so much easier. There's over 600 cards, I think, in this board game. But yeah, here's sort of different phases of the settlement phase. Different tokens, like these are Endeavor. These are how you spend things to innovate. There's different tokens for your stats and negatives, and you got lunacy tokens if you go crazy. You got different color markers just to sort of keep track of certain things, bleed tokens, all that good stuff. But yeah, is that all the tokens? I can't remember. There's more tokens underneath that. There's like 2 different layers. But this is the actual board game, and I think I'm going to have to make some room for this one. And I may actually, I'm going to do another cut, because I don't want to drop my phone, and I don't want to drop the board game either. Alright, sorry for no audio here. I don't know why my phone didn't, I might have hit something accidentally, but this part doesn't have audio, but I'm going to do a little bit over commentary. But this is the game board. It was super, super slick. What you're seeing here is actually the AI portion of the monster area, where they have all their AI cards and wound cards. But this is the inside of the box, and I love it. I love the fact that they actually prepared for you to get expansions, so they provide you with a shit ton of extra room, so you actually have dividers and stuff like that where you're able to put down and mark different expansions. So when you do get expansions, you don't have to get new boxes or anything like that. That's one issue I had with Sword and Sorcery, which I mentioned earlier in the video, was that once you punched out the tokens and punched out the tiles, you actually had 0 room for any of the stuff. So I have to actually keep that stuff outside of the game box, which is really, really annoying. But here's some of the dividers and all that stuff. What you're seeing here is like the settlement cards, and these are random settlement events that you go through during your settlement phase. They can be anything from like acid rain to like people visiting your settlement. The dice that you use, the game uses D10s as well as a unique D6, which actually indicates which place you get hit. You have like your head location, chest location, waist location, arms and legs. You can die in from some pretty horrible and hilarious ways. And here are the cards. Yeah, the stacks are mixed together, so whatever the top card is, that's not the only thing in that stack. Those are some AI cards. I think it shows some special hunt events and regular hunt events, and as well as got some like disorders and stuff like that. There's also secret fighting arts and fighting arts in general that give you different augments to your combat abilities. But yeah, it's super, super nice. It's just super awesome being able to see all these cards actually in physical form, because I've been playing, like I said before as well, I've been playing it on Tabletop Simulator, but it's definitely nothing like actually having it in your hands and seeing it in person, especially this part, the rule book. It's over 100 pages, I believe. and it's got some really, really fantastic art. Just a heads up, though, there is some mature imagery in here, so if you have any kids around, just be forewarned. It's a very mature game. They definitely don't pull any punches when it comes to nudity or gore or anything like that. I believe I do flip to a pretty gory page in this too, but like that art, for example, is like super, super awesome. They also have some pretty interesting art just in the manual. There's some like anime style art to represent some of the characters, just sort of doing fun little things along the rule book. But the actual serious art is really, really nice. And this whole book is not only the rule book, but you can sort of see here there's a D100 table of random events that you roll during your hunts, so that you can see that right there, as well as a bunch of story and milestone events that are in the book. So it's not just a rule book, it is used for actual gameplay purposes. Here's the picture I was talking about. Yeah, the principle of death. That's one of the principles you actually do when you first have your first death in the settlement. You actually have to choose whether or not you want to cannibalize the body to get extra resources, or you want to make graves to actually get more endeavor for more innovations, and to honor the dead. So there's a lot of cool decision making in the game that'll actually affect your campaign in a very, very heavy ways. And then you have character sheets. It gives you a big pad of character sheets as well as settlement sheets. If you look online as well, though, there's a bunch of different custom-made ones that the community has made. There's sort of the character boards that you can hold all your gear and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I'm super happy about this. I'm gonna get some gameplay up on Tabletop Simulator soon, so you guys I'm probably just gonna do like the prologue just to get people interested in the game, just to sort of give people an idea of how it plays out, just in case they are looking for a big, crazy new board game to get with their friends, and they want to sort of go in all on it, since it is a $400 game, but 100% worth it. But I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more Kingdom Death soon.